Whose voices are being silenced by the science of learning narrative that's happening at IATEFL at the moment? At IATEFL, we're being told to teach by the science, but who's deciding which science counts? My issue with this is who benefits and also who gets silenced. First of all, what is the science of learning? So it refers to insights from cognitive psychology, neuroscience and educational research that aim to explain how best people learn. It's getting a lot of traction in ILT right now because it's supposed to be moving us away from the concept of methods towards what apparently works according to the science. My issue with this is that, apart from anything else, there's a one-size-fits-all mentality, which means that there are certain very big players who stand to gain. It's going to consolidate power in institutions, companies, and not in the hands of teachers or learners. I'm concerned that it's going to end up delegitimizing experience, reducing complexity and narrowing the discourse. The thing is, it prioritizes certain kinds of knowledge, which is quantitative knowledge. So qualitative studies, motivation, identity, teacher narratives, sociocultural and critical theory, all of these got these whole bodies of thought like sociocultural theory and Freirean pedagogy get quietly pushed out by this. My worry is who sets this standard and what alternatives are being erased and what power is being exercised here. All the big players who are the major publishers, for example, benefit from standardization and scalable solutions. It has backing from some very large foundations. All this research has backing from some very large foundations, some commercial educational firms and global policy groups. Why? Because it offers scalable interventions and measurable outcomes. It feels like a safe consensus in a world where politics are polarized. It offers a clean answer, just follow the science. There's no debate, there's no discomfort, and there's no dissent. That's exactly why it's dangerous. In fact, if you have a look at the literature that's actually in the program, it talks about cutting edge, most effective, identified by research. It's all packaged as being the truth. Saying things like there are strategies that work, again, is being packaged as being the truth. So the problem is there's a big leap from this strategy worked in our study to all teachers should do this. It's called context stripping. This isn't neutral research. This is a narrow lens being passed off as a universal truth. So why is this being given here and now? Objective solutions these days are prized over messy realities, and in a way that's understandable. The thing is, there's also a reason why it's being delivered here and now. IATEFL is not just a conference for teachers, it's a stage, it's a marketplace, and science of learning is the perfect keynote product. As Foucault might ask, who is giving this message? Is it teachers? Is it students? Or is it researchers and commercial publishers? The thing is, we have a vacuum that's been left by the so-called post-methods era, and science of learning steps right in there. It promises evidence, solutions, and efficiency. Not as a suggestion, but as a new orthodoxy. We are promised a one-size-fits-all approach. The trouble is, a power vacuum that was left by the post-methods era is dangerous because it begs to be filled. And then science of learning, being research-heavy and quantifiable and therefore standardizable, steps into the breach. That's not bad in itself necessarily. The trouble is, it becomes prescriptive and unquestionable for that reason. So, while post-methods celebrated plurality, science of learning risks enforcing uniformity in the name of best practice. It also narrows what we're allowed to say, what counts as legitimate knowledge, and who gets to decide what that legitimate knowledge is. Antonio Gramsci warned us, when one worldview becomes dominant, we stop seeing it as a worldview. We start calling it truth. The thing is, that kind of worldview isn't just maintained through force, it's maintained through consent. That happens when dominant ideas become common sense, taken for granted as natural, logical, or inevitable. People don't need to follow the dominant ideology if they believe that's just how things are. And this is not this is not a call to reject the research, it's a call to question the power behind it. We're talking about a discursive regime here. It defines what's sayable in ELT. Because it's reproducing power, it locates authority outside the classroom and above the teacher. We need to ask who benefits, we need to ask what's missing here, because knowledge is never neutral. Education is never neutral either. So who defines good teaching? Who profits from it? And who gets silenced in the process? At the beginning of Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, there is this beautiful epigraph which reads, "If they give you lined paper, write the other way." We are being handed lined paper. Let's repeat that. If they give you lined paper, write the other way. I would also say, if they give you research, ask who paid for it. And if they're trying to silence you, you have to speak louder. We need to start asking these questions before we are given answers again that we were not asking for in the first place. Let me know what you think.